So we're learning Igeres HaKodesh, the fourth section of Tanya. We're on page Kuf Hey, which is opposite 208. We're at Igeres HaKodesh, the fourth letter. This letter is also about tzedakah, and in this letter, the Alter Rebbe associates tzedakah with geula, with redemption, both global redemption, i.e. Mashiach's coming, and also personal redemption. So this is an important letter that he hasn't discussed before. Let's see what he says. Dalet, Ein Yisrael Negolin Ele B'Tzedakah. Chazal say that the Yiddish people, the Jewish nation, won't be redeemed Ele B'Tzedakah unless they do righteousness. That's one taich of tzedakah from the root word Hillel, tzedek. And the other classical meaning of tzedakah is charity. Shenemar, and he brings the pasuk in Yeshaya in Isaiah, v'shovel b'tzedakah. And the captives that were captured upon leaving Yerushalayim will be returned to Jerusalem through tzedakah. That's the famous pasuk in the Haftarah, Shabbos Chazayin, Tzion b'mishpat tepada, Zion will be redeemed through judgment. In that case, it refers to Torah study. V'shaveho, and the captives of Zion who were captured when chased out of Jerusalem, V'shaveho, and its captives will be redeemed from captivity through tzedakah. So the Alter Rebbe quotes here half of the verse, not the full verse, as a support for the Chazal, which the Chazal say, Ein Yisrael Nigolin Avraham Ele B'Tzedakah, that if you want to have redemption, geula, you need tzedakah. Shenemar, as it says in Yeshaya, V'shoveho, the captives who want geula, they want redemption. They want to come back to Jerusalem. They don't want to stay in captivity, just like the hijacked Chatufim now want to be returned to their land and their people and their parents and their relatives and families. V'shoveho, and its captives will happen through tzedakah. So what this means, kipshutai, before we go further, simply speaking, is to give tzedakah. That through giving tzedakah, that's charity, it'll help the hostages. And number two, tzedakah from the word tzedek, righteousness. The more righteous we are, it helps the hostages. That's what it says in the pasuk, and that's what it says in Chazal. Here comes the Alter Rebbe. Ksiv, there's another pasuk, tzedek lefonav yahaloch. Tzedek, righteousness, lefonav, before him, yahaloch, he will make go. Meimar asks the Alter Rebbe on the language of David HaMelech, I believe it's a verse in Psalms. Meimar, he should have said Yelech. Righteousness will walk. Yahalech lefonav Yelech. That when you do righteousness, you walk with righteousness. Yahalach is the same word, but it doesn't mean you will walk, but Yahalach, you will make someone else walk. Asks the Alter Rebbe over here, seemingly the language is incorrect. That's his question. And his question begs the answer. In other words, of course David HaMelech is correct in his precise language, Yahalach. Because through tzedakah we make something else within us be present. And this is what he's going to talk about now, the neshama and who we are, and how through tzedakah, tzedek, lefonav, Yahaloch. Not only do you go Baruch, do you gain from tzedakah, but there's something in you that we don't see necessarily, i.e. the neshama, that benefits from tzedakah and is necessary for the bond with God. Let's see what he says. To understand this, Al-Pi Mashakosov, he brings another verse which we say every day during HaKodesh Elul. Lecho Omar Libi, to you, Omar Libi says my heart. Hashem says, Bakshu Fonai, I want your heart to search my face. Pirush. Again, whenever you see Pirush in Tanya, it means something is not clear, that we need commentary. Pirush means, and the explanation is, if it says, L'cho Omar Libi, Bakshu Ponai Hashem, right? Hashem is saying, I want you, Jew, to search for me. So why does the pasuk repeat, as Ponecho Hashem Avakish? It should say, your face, your countenance, Avakish. Why is the word Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, why is God mentioned in the second half of the verse? God is saying this. So the Alter Rebbe says, Pirush, Bakshu Pnimiyas Alev. I don't want you just to do, in a robotic way, the mitzvahs. I want you to search. Bakish means to search, to request, to beg, as what? Bakshu Ponai, look for my pnimius. Oh, in other words, not just look for God, look for the inner God, the inner child within you, the inner experience, the inwardness, pnimius. And this already, by the way, is the answer to the question, Hillel, why Yahaloch and not Yelech? Yelech is referring to the person himself. Yahalech is referring to the neshama that's bepnimius, and we have to make that walk along for Hashem. And so this is why the verse L'cho Omar Libi Bakshu Ponai is very much supportive of the concept of pnimius, because there too in the verse, it doesn't mean search for the outer God, the extraneous God. Hold on, I have to close the windows. I'm sorry. So, in other words, the chitzonius is not a that's not a big deal. That's what we walk with every day. And from there, Avram, you're not going to accomplish bakshu. L'cho malibu bakshu, if you really want to find God, you have to go into pnimius. And we all know that. You could do the mitzvahs, and you should do the mitzvahs, but it can be robotic, stale. Just this morning, a kid comes into shul, and he goes in to get a coffee during davening. And I noticed, I said to myself, I think I should ask him to put on tefillin. Wearing the yarmulke, I go into the coffee room after davening, I say, do you need a pair of tefillin? And he says, yeah, but I just got up. Just give me a few minutes. And I did tefillin with him in shul, in Borough Park. Right? You got to run out to Venice Beach, and you got to run to New Mexico, and you got to run to China to put on tefillin with Jews. No. You can put tefillin on with Jews today in your own base medrash. I promise you. Okay? After he put on tefillin, and he said, he davened, of course he knew the tefillas, and he used my Chabad tefillin, he put him on his Ashkenaz Sfard way, And he told me he's going back to Eretz Yisrael and whatever. He's 20 years old. So someone, and then he went away. And I said, if I can help him, let me know. I'm around. So someone in the back, I didn't even know that he says to me, someone who davens there, a chassid, he says, no, you did your Lubavitch thing today. That's a standard comment when a Lubavitcher puts on tefillin with someone else. So I said, no. This isn't a Lubavitch thing. This is a Jewish boy who, every one of us should think about. So he says, but how did you know he didn't put on tefillin? It's, a quarter to 7 in the morning and everything is quiet. How did you know? So I said, there's a famous saying, Hasidim have a good chush hareach. They have a good sense of smell. And just looking at him, I could smell that, I'm not sure he's going to put on tefillin today. Hey, he has till 7 o'clock at night to put on tefillin. And maybe he would put on tefillin, I don't know. But I sense that right now he's not in tefillin mode. Why am I saying this? When you're looking for chitzonius, you would have the response of the gentleman in the back. You don't know. But if you sense, and believe me, I'm no holy roller. But if you're trained to think pneumius, to always look for pneumius, many things that you can't see on the outside, on the facade, you'll pick up. So this is a general, very important lessons Chodesh Elul, to train ourselves. Here, this isn't even what I'm telling you now, it's not part of the Tanya, but it's just a side message, an important one. To train ourselves to look for pneumius. Back to the text. So he says, Bakshu pneumius alev, look for the inner heart. Hine, behold, belav yesoid ha'esh olikis shebelev, the flame of the element of fire of God that's in the heart. Hine belav yesoid ha'esh olikis shebelev, there's base. There's two levels. Pchinas chitzayni is number one, the external, the exterior, the outwardness, upchinas pneumius, and the inside, the pneumius, the inwardness. What is the outwardness of the heart? Baruch. He slavus hamislaheves mipchinas habina vadas. It's the enthusiasm that one comes to be enthused from understanding bina vadas and focus. Bigdulus Hashem himself put on the greatness of the infinite God. Lizboinin, to meditate, to reflect, to contemplate Bigdulosoi, on God's greatness, and the result being lahoilid, to give birth. The result being mitfunazu, from this meditation, ava aza, a mighty love, kiddish beyesh, like a flame fire. Now you hear that? Chitzonius Hillel is no small change. To have islavus, okay, to have real fire of Rome for Hashem, passion, fire, baruch, enthusiasm, excitement. When you think, not when you just shuckle away and not talking about just shuckling and screaming. We're talking about using the mind to understand God, a concept of God, to think about it, to focus on it, and then it moves you. It moves you. I was thinking about this the other day. When you learn Chassidus, when you learn Chabad Chassidus in particular, and you meditate on it, you reflect on it, you'll be a different person. Just one line, if you take the time to meditate on it, I mean meditate in Chabad sense of meditation, not transcendental meditation, which has other values, I'm not going, or breathing exercises. I'm not poo-pooing that. I'm just saying that's not Chabad meditation. Chabad meditation is a knowledge of the topic, the subject matter, to know it well, simply to know the meaning well, and then to focus on it, and to wrap your mind around it, and let your mind become absorbed and swallowed by the idea. And when that happens, there is a hislavus. So again, here, I want to make it clear, we're not talking about the external hislavus that you see in certain Hasidic movements, which is wonderful and important, but it's not the Chabad hislavus. You see here, it's the Alter Rebbe's words. He's talking about hislavus, Hillel, he's talking about enthusiasm, and how does he say, how do you come to this enthusiasm? Through his bodenness, Bigdulas Hashem, with Bina and Das. Not chuckling and not screaming. He doesn't say that here. So if you need a proof, yes, Baruch, yes, go ahead, Baruch, go ahead.
Sorry, Rabbi.
Not sorry, it's a pleasure, please.
Okay, so this bonus, there's something which is left out over here, which is Chokmah being with us. Right? So why is the Alter Rebbe only using the word of Bina and Das?
Okay, wait. Good question.
Okay.
Good question. The answer, you want the answer, you can't wait. Because Pnimius Alev is Chochmah. But let's see what he says. That's the answer, B'Kitzer, and you have to do your homework to think about my answer. Okay? Let's continue inside. So I fed your tithe of knowing the answer, but now to understand the answer, that you have to do homework. You have to be misboinen. You have to be misboinen on what I said. Anyway, let's go further. Let's see what he says. So he says, Pnimius Alev. So if that's Chitzonius Alev, what could there be greater? I have enthusiasm from his boneness and Gadlus Hashem. Says the Alter Rebbe, Pnimius Alev is something totally different. Pnimius Alev, HaNekuda shebepnimius Alev. The Nekuda, the quintessential point within the depth of the heart, the Umka, the Liba, the depth of the heart, which is above, it transcends knowledge and understanding, so that one should be able to meditate on this. No. Pnimius Alev doesn't come through meditation. In I don't know if Yiddish, Hebrew, there's a concept, shpart durch. Shpart is a Yiddish word. Shpart means it breaks through. When you have a simcha, a child, a bar mitzvah, a wedding, or if you feel that way about your friend's simcha, right? You have a simcha, Menashe. Usually, the feeling of simcha that you have during a simcha comes by understanding what a simcha is, who has the simcha, why it's so great, and you're happy about it. Right? Baruch Hashem, I married off 2 daughters in 3 months. Hashem gave me a great gift. I'm ecstatic about it. Because I know what I went through for 5 to 10 years, right? Looking for shidduchim for my girls, my daughters. And I know the agony, and I know all of the akbas nefesh, and all the anxiety, and all the phone calls, and all the complaints, on and on, right? So now, when you're gifted by God, these simchas, it makes sense to be b'simcha. Yaini, that's a great simcha, and halavai, everyone should have those simchas. We should all have and share those simchas. But that's not the simcha of Pnimius. That's in Chabad considered still simcha of Chitzonius, because it comes through a meditation or a reflection, a realization, an understanding. So anything that comes Yaini through an understanding is limited. But then you go to a simcha, and all of a sudden someone jumps up. I've always said the same mashal to you. because it's so real to me. It's standing over there. I think it was Rechov Malchi Yisrael in Yerushalayim, not far from the Bayaner base Medrash, waiting for a bus, and it just hit me standing there. I'm in Yerushalayim. I'm standing on the stones of Yerushalayim. And I started to dance. And people are looking at me dance. You know, I'm singing and dancing. They're like, what happened? You cracked up? And they see I'm a normal guy. You know, and I told them, I'm just besimcha. Something just overtook me and I feel elated. That is more in line with the Pnimius HaLev that the Alter Rebbe is speaking about here. There isn't here a calculated reason for the simcha. And by the way, when you experience that Pnimius simcha, people might think you're out of your mind, right? Because it's not time now to dance. It's not time now to sing. It's, you know, going to shul. Here we sing. Here we cry. Here we kneel. Here we stand up. And then there's a gentleman, this famous story of Levi Baditchever, who raised money to save a Jew from the Paretz, from the landowner, and he had to drink vodka, that famous story, and he just put me down. He was drunk, and he raised the money, and he saved the Jew, but he said he would put me down in shul so I can be there for Kol Nidre. And when he realizes everyone's standing, when he wakes up before, and everyone rises for Kol Nidre, he jumps up and he says, Kum Ataresa, get up for Ataresa, which we say on Simchas Torah. Because he saw everyone standing. And they all wanted to throw him out of shul. And Rabbi Yitzchak says, stop! Don't you dare touch him. And they say, Rebbe, he's disturbing the peace. Rabbi Yitzchak says, he went straight from Rosh Hashanah to Simchas Torah. He doesn't need Kol Nidre and Nila and Yom Kippur, even though technically he was there because that's the halacha. But in spirit, he doesn't need it. Because saving a Jew by raising money and having to drink for it, in that case, suffering. You think he wanted to drink? He hated alcohol. But he did it because that was the only way he can get the ruble to pay, to ransom the Jew, help the Jew. So he puts himself on the line for another Jew. That's what we're talking about. That doesn't come from meditation. It doesn't. It doesn't have the ability to come from meditation. Because meditation, even the Chabad meditation, you know, as we spoke about, is limited to the meditation. It's still in a box. So this is what the Alter Rebbe says at Pnimius HaLev. And he's telling us that it is possible for us, and this is really, as we go along in the chapter here, this is what brings Geula. This is what needs to be experienced when you give tzedakah. Pnimius HaLev. Not, I'll give tzedakah to. I won't give tzedakah. Why? I know this about. Him, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? That's all calculated. Let's go further. And he says, you know, we say this in the 10 days of Seres Yemei Tshuva, right? The capital that we say after Baruch Hu, before Baruch Hu, after Yishtabach. And then we say it again, of course, during the Shofar blowing, from out of the depths, Karasicha Hashem, I call to you, God. Says the Alter Rebbe, for the depths means me'umka de liba, from the depth of the heart, from the Pnimius HaLev. Now look at this mashal in the brackets. Derech mashal kamoi b'mili di alma. Take, for example, in worldly affairs. Lepamim at times yesh inyan godel mi'oid mi'oid. There is a very important thing. Shekol chayos ha'odem toli boi. All of one's energy depends on this thing. V'negei nekudish pnimius HaLev, and this thing is relevant to him, to the depth of his heart, to the innermost heart. V'ad bichlal, and even more. V'goyrem loy lepamim lasos maisim And this drives him to do things, uledaber dvarim, to speak things, shalei b'das klal, that don't make any sense. It's exactly what I was telling you before. If you looked at me at the bus station singing and dancing, you would think I'm out of my mind. Okay? It's not there's no, it wasn't a Yom Tiv, it wasn't a Simcha. What are you dancing at the? So the Alter Rebbe uses this, the Gashmias. This analogy over here in the brackets, Baruch, is about Begashmias. How much more so Beruchnias? In other words, Begashmias, when something great happens to them in their life, and it touches their very core, they do things and they speak things that are not the norm. Not necessarily not in a bad way, in a good way, but it's not the norm. That's it. So if this is true in the positive, it's also there is the opposite for. It's also true in the opposite, in the negative. So it's also in the heart of a Jew.